You ever get fined $2,000 for swimming in the lake your own grandfather bought on land that's been in your family for generations? Yeah, that actually happened to me, and I still can't decide if it's hilarious or if I should be mad as hell. I was out there waist deep in clear water, honeysuckle drifting across the dock, watching my little girl Mia try to catch minnows. And that's when Brenda, our new HOA president, comes marching down the dock in her high heels like she's storming the beaches at Normandy, clutching a certified letter like it's a search warrant. You're in violation. $2,000 fine, she snaps, handing me that letter like it's some kind of official state order. My kid just stares totally confused, and honestly, so was I. This is the same lake my grandfather bought in 1947. Hell, that's 30 years before there even was an HOA here. So you can imagine the taste of metal in my mouth, that kind of white-hot rage that comes up when you realize some stranger is trying to steal what's yours, what's your family's, over a rule she cooked up last Tuesday. What Brenda didn't realize, Tennessee law is a little trickier than her Connecticut playbook, but let me back up a sec. My name's Garrett Steinberg, 44, engineer, divorced, and the lake house is where I get to be dad in all the ways that count. Grandpa got this place for $800. Yeah, $800 for 22 acres and a spring-fed lake so clear you can spot the base halfway to Georgia. It's where I built a dock with my own two hands, Mia handing me the wrong screws the whole time, where she learned to fish, and where I still hear my grandpa's old tackle box rattling in the garage sometimes. Everything changed the day Brenda Kensington Walsh blew into town. 2 years ago, Connecticut plates, big white BMW lawn so perfect it makes you suspicious, and a personality like a tax auditor who hasn't had lunch. Within 6 months, she's running the HOA fees go from $45 to $180 practically overnight, all in the name of professional management. But you want to know the truth? She was just out here with a ruler measuring grass, timing garage doors with a stopwatch. That's not a joke, a stopwatch. Neighbors started getting picked off one by one. The Hendersons were fined $800 for their kids having a slip and slide. Sweet Mrs. Bennett got dinged for 3 garden gnomes, 3 on her front walk. I figured enough is enough and started digging into the law. Found out if your property predates the HOA, their rules can't override your deed. That's called being grandfathered in, and it's about to become my ace in the hole. Saturday, just as I'm showing Mia how to cast for bluegill. Here comes Brenda Heels, clacking clipboard at the ready, smile like she's never lost a fight and doesn't plan to start now. This lake is a community water feature under Covenant 47B, she drones. All swimming must be pre-approved by the board. I show her the survey property lines clear as day, but she just peels off a pink slip, tells me to cease all recreational activity, and stomps off, leaving expensive perfume and attitude hanging in the air. My kid looks at me. Daddy, why can't we swim in our lake? That hit me harder than the fine. A week later, the certified letter comes, $2,000 fine itemized like a bill at a bad restaurant. Unauthorized recreational use, $200. No permit, $500. Contempt of HOA authority, $300. Didn't even know you could be fined for contempt. Payment due in 2 weeks, or they'll pursue legal remedies. You ever been so mad you started laughing? That was me. I checked on Mrs. Bennett. She'd been fined for her bird bath, a memorial to her late husband. Then she tells me Brenda demanded kickbacks from the pool contractor and banned him when he said no. I spent that night on the internet with 3 cups of coffee and a legal pad, learning more about Tennessee property law than I ever planned to. And here's the kicker: state law says, clear as day, if your deed predates the HOA, they cannot take your rights. I sent Brenda a letter with every statute highlighted and all the documents to back me up. I thought that'd be the end of it. Oh man, was I wrong. 3 days later, she's doubled down. New letter, my dock is unsafe. She's calling the county. I beat her to it. County inspector's been fielding complaints from her for months, and he's about ready to charge her with harassment. Document everything he tells me. So I start to file every crazy letter, every threat, every witness. Then Brenda brings in her brother-in-law's law firm, fancy letterhead threatening legal action if I don't stop swimming. She goes full scorched earth Facebook posts about my toxic lake whisper campaigns, calling me an ecological terrorist. She finds the Martinez family for their mailbox, the Johnsons for a vegetable garden, just picking off anyone who might stand up to her. I hire an environmental company to test my lake. Turns out it's cleaner than bottled water, and the inspector calls it a pristine natural habitat. That's when I dig into Brenda's past and surprised she'd been forced out of another HOA for governance irregularities. Her brother-in-law's law firm, Professional Losers, mostly losing cases for harassment. Then the county inspector comes out, gives my doc a gold star, and tells me between us that Brenda's targeting certain residents and ignoring violations by her friends, which is illegal as hell. That night, I post everything to the community Facebook page, test results, inspection reports, invoices. Neighbors start speaking up. If Garrett's lake is contaminated, my tap water's nuclear waste, one wrote. Why are we paying $180 a month for this? The tide's turning, and Brenda knows it. She calls an emergency HOA meeting to slap us all with a $5,000 special assessment, supposedly to cover legal fees defending the community. I show up folder in hand, ready for war. Only 6 people are there, Brenda, her cronies, and 3 regular homeowners. I demand to see the legal expenses and HOA financials. Under Tennessee law, I've got the right. Brenda panics. Her allies start sweating. Turns out the only legal expenses are her brother-in-law's bills, half of them for her own real estate drama. Vote fails, but the fuse is lit. I get the financial records, and holy hell, Brenda's company has billed the HOA for $147,000 over 2 years, money funneled straight into her pocket through fake contracts, bogus lawn care, pool services billed to her house. Even the harassment campaign against me was paid for by homeowner dues. I bring Mrs. Bennett in to compare notes. She's got records going back to the day Brenda moved in. Time for the big guns. I call a law firm specializing in HOA fraud, the Tennessee Department of Commerce, and a forensic accountant. They're all interested. We form a coalition with the Hendersons and the Martinez family, launch a private Facebook group, start collecting stories and evidence. The pool contractor gives us testimony about Brenda's kickback schemes. We dig up dirt from her last HOA. Our annual meeting is 6 weeks away and we're ready. Brenda, meanwhile, is unraveling, sabotaging my dock at night, caught on camera, sending violation notices for charcoal instead of midnight mailboxes, slapping Mrs. Bennett with fines for tomato plants, and even getting a restraining order against me for harassment. She shows up on my porch at 10 p.m., offering to drop all the fines if I join her inner circle. I record every word. The next day, snitch is spray painted on the Martinez garage, but people are getting braver, not quieter. Our group swells to half the neighborhood. Then Brenda plays her trump card, files a $15,000 lien on my house, and floods the community with glossy flyers, making me out as some threat to children and property values. She tries to freeze the HOA bank accounts, calls another emergency meeting, and threatens to dissolve the HOA entirely unless everyone returns to cooperative governance. She even has someone threaten Mrs. Bennett's grandson at school. That's the line right there. Instead of silencing us, it brings the whole neighborhood together. By the time the annual meeting rolls around, the community center is packed. 43 out of 47 households, a Channel 7 news crew in the back, and the county deputy by the door with a stack of warrants. Brenda tries to rush through the agenda, but I stand up, plug in my laptop, and walk everyone through the evidence. 3 times the budget, all the extra money vanishing into her businesses, inflated invoices, legal fees for her own divorce, kickbacks, everything. Neighbors erupt. Mrs. Bennett, usually quiet as a church mouse, stands up and calls her out for threatening her grandson. Deputy Martinez arrests Brenda right there, embezzlement, fraud, witness, intimidation. Her attorney's already heading for the door. Brenda spits that property values will crash, but Mrs. Bennett legend looks her in the eye and says, "The only thing falling apart here is your criminal enterprise." The room explodes in applause. We vote Mrs. Bennett in as president, cut the dues to $35, create a transparent system Start a college fund for local kids with the recovered money first recipient Tyler Bennett, the same kid Brenda's thugs threatened. My Lake. The scene of the crime becomes the heart of the community. Open for everyone, insurance paid up with the money we clawed back. Turns out honest governance makes property values rise. Who'd have guessed? Now there's a waiting list to get in. I help other neighborhoods spot this kind of fraud. Tennessee passes a law for mandatory audits, Willowbrook reforms they call it. If you're listening, here's what matters. Document everything. Never stand alone, and don't let anyone with a clipboard bully you out of what's yours. Drop your own HOA nightmares below, because trust me, you're not alone. And hey, if you want more stories like this, stick around. Next up, the one where I got the HOA president fired for planting spy cameras in the pool cabana. Until then, keep fighting the good fight. Your property rights matter more than anyone's clipboard, and sometimes justice just takes a little teamwork.